Thanks for checking us out here, like I said, on YouTube as well as on the podcast. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, give us a comment, let us know what you think, and hit us up on the social medias.
Right, and I don't hate the Cook Vikings defense.
That's not a bad stack. It's something to consider.
The Vikings will give up a little bit of points, but they will earn some fantasy points.
Yeah, and we'll go deeper into them on the defensive side. But let's jump right into the wide receivers so that we can make sure we're doing proper time. Okay. Our number one guy is Devonte Adams.
If Aaron Rodgers plays.
I don't like him.
If Aaron Rodgers plays,
I don't even like him if Aaron plays. I feel like this is an off week.
We're getting him at a discount.
At 7.9? You think that's a discount?
He's been, all right, all of his prices this whole year, 83, 85, 81, 79, 82, 9K, 8,800, and 8,200 last week.
I put it to you like
he's
this.
He's a 9K receiver.
We've had 2 30-plus point games this year from him.
It's true.
That's it. That's low for a guy that's consistent in the 8,000s and up. He's not giving us that value that we would expect from a guy like Devonte Adams. He's going to get you 15. He might get you 20. But he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games under 20 points this season. That's why I pump the brakes on him.
Right.
And then if Rodgers is playing,
Chicago and Pittsburgh, matchups, Saints,
yeah, exactly. So, but if we're gonna go start with a quick highs that I really like, if Godwin ain't playing, I love Mike Evans. We talked about him.
Yes.
That at what's that 6'9"? He's probably your better play at the top if he doesn't play. Mm-hmm. If Godwin doesn't play, if Godwin does play Godwin. Okay. As Aaron Rodgers' favorite guy. I mean, I'm sorry, that's Tom Brady's favorite guy. He loves Chris Godwin. We've learned that by targets. Well, AJ Brown. I'm sorry, Antonio Brown's his favorite. But Antonio Brown's
you know what?
Playing.
At 7'8", he's.
But AJ is a good.
He's
play
actually
too.
one of my favorite spin ups. AJ Brown this week. He's talking about these performances. He had a low game against the Rams last week. He still saw 11 targets, but before that, 2 30-point games in a row.
Yeah.
And a 16 before that. So you look at the targets: 6, 9, 9, 11, 11, and without Derrick Henry, like it's a passing team.
Yeah. And
I think they win this game against the Saints. The Saints are down. May not have Kamara. I like Justin Jefferson at 7-7. You're gonna hear a recurring theme in every position with the Chargers Minnesota game. I really kind of like this spot for Justin Jefferson. There's some injuries in the Chargers secondary this week.
Haven't they had injuries over the last few weeks, and they've been looking bad because of it?
Yeah, you saw Devante Smith kind of pop back against this Chargers defense last week, and I kind of like him. That's a 52.5 point total. Chargers favored by 3.
And he's gone up in cost. He went up in cost. So the
up.
Expectation is that he's going to have a breakout week. He hasn't done much in the last 3, but if you can get 22 out of him at 7-7, he's worth it.
And you put the asterisk with, Kirk Cousins being your quarterback. Because if he's not going to throw, if he's not throwing.
Get Kurt or Kirk, one of the two.
Because when you look at, when Jefferson has those games, it's like you go back and then you look at Cousins' game log right next to it. These last 2 games, 184 yards, 187 passing yards.
Are they playing a team with a winning record? They are. That's when Kirk Cousins forgets how to play football.
That's why Cook is my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you play a Viking, you might play Cook and you play the Vikings defense because Justin Herbert's starting to regress.
Yeah.
Even though he's still putting up numbers, he's not looking as prominent as he was before. But so,
what about McLaurin and Diggs?
Okay, so I told you got to talk me into Diggs. This is kind of a conversation we had in green room before we started. I need you to talk me into him because I don't want to touch him for the rest of the year. Only because at his value at 7.5, I've gotten 2 20-point games at his 7,000 value.
Play him in like a head-to-head matchup because he's still averaging 16 points. Like he has no single digits out. He has 1 single digit
week. And that was against Kansas City, which is a little disturbing.
Well, you go back
they
to
blew
the
him
game
out.
log and see who else blew up. Like you said,
that was the Beasley, that was the Sanders week. So if you stack and we go down to cheap ones, I would play both Beasley and Sanders.
I really like Beasley.
They have a good.
I don't like saying. I think that the age. I think there's
But man, he seems to catch touchdowns. That's all he does.
He hasn't done lately.
That's a good point.
But
you're not wrong.
But the offense hadn't looked great the past couple of weeks either.
That too.
So okay, we talked about if Godwin misses. Lamb at 7K. So many mouths to feed there in Dallas. I really like Keaton Allen at 7K. I'm a sucker for not Josh Herbert. Justin Herbert.
Yeah, you are a sucker for Justin Herbert. He's your guy.
But like when you're looking at stacking him, like it's so defined. Like Keaton Allen, even he's so steady, man. 13. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of double digit targets. That's Cooper Kupp type target share at 7K.
Yeah.
These last 2 weeks, he's got 18 catches over the last 2 games. He had 12 catches last week against Philly. That's 6 the week before. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
That's not bad.
He kind of was slow on the touchdowns because they were kind of going at Mike Williams in the red zone. They kind of look at Cook and Donald Parham in the red zone, so the touchdowns hadn't been there.
Yeah.
But, he's averaging more fantasy points right now than Stephon Diggs for $500 cheaper. You talked about convince you to play Diggs. I'm like, I can't. Unless you just think you're going to keep playing
$500 cheaper.
Unless you just committed to playing Diggs. They're like, look, I've been riding him, and I know that it's in him. Like, this would be the week to play him, to be honest with you. Like, if you've been playing him, because it's
that Jets defense that we think is going to be bad when they're not as awful as we think.
But we did see Jamar. That was a 200-yard game with Jamar Chase was against the Jets.
That's true.
Even though they ended up losing the game, but we don't really care who wins or loses. We just want fantasy points.
We want the numbers. We want the numbers.
200 yards.
But I mean, if we're gonna go cheaper, if you're gonna go ahead and just take a $700 drop and get DK Metcalf.
I was about to say it was actually, and I'm in that region. So DK at 6'8", I give you another player 6'8" that you could play. How about Deontay Johnson with no Charles Claypool this week? We talked about this spot for Najee Harris against Detroit.
That's a good point. But Johnson at 68.
He's not bad. Look at he's not
bad. But at 68. Okay, so he's double digit every week.
He's not bad.
He's double digit every week.
We don't like Big Ben. We don't like the we don't like the thought of the offense. But look at
what I like about Big Ben is that Najee Harris is going to catch a whole bunch of dunks.
And so Deontay Johnson, so the tree got narrower with no Claypool.
Yep.
You see what's going on with Freiermuth with no Ebron. So right now it's Harris, it's Johnson, it's Freiermuth. It's we don't really want to chase James Washington and Ray McLeod in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But they're playing Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Detroit seems to be the one. Everybody's
shut out by Philly.
Yeah. And
I know Big Ben. So he's just, he's there at 6'8". I do like DK at 6'8". Thielen is always like, he caught that touchdown last week. I said I didn't hate him, but, my recurring theme is Minnesota and Chargers, so it would probably just be a game stack that I play Thielen. Mike Williams' price is free falling at 6'6". Anything attached to Justin Herbert. Mike Williams got to bounce back one of these weeks. He's got 3 straight games of under 10. That's bad. That's worse than Diggs.
That's true.
That's worse than Diggs.
All right, let's go to some of our value guys and then jump on tight ends real quick. Some of value guys.
Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman, of course. Keep your eye on Julio Jones.
He's 5'4".
He's limited because of the hammy, but if he does play, that's a good value against New Orleans. Because what New Orleans is going to do, Marshawn Lattimore is going to shadow A.J. Brown.
I was just about to say, if A.J. Brown fails, it's Julio.
It's all Julio.
That simple.
I'm actually sold on Julio this week because of Marshawn Lattimore shadowing A.J. Brown. It makes the most sense.
Kind of hate that A.J. Green has come back. I wanted to like Christian Kirk again at 5'5".
Oh, no. Take A.J. Green. Take Old Man Green, even though he doesn't like to recognize that he's in the end zone on fade routes.
Now, the question really, I think it's more centered on whether or not DeAndre Hopkins plays. And as of Thursday, still not practicing. Him or Kyler still not practicing. So if you like Julio 5'4", how about Jerry Judy at 5'3"?
I do like Judy at 5'3".
Like Judy this week.
He's coming back. He's out there. Tim Patrick Patrick has been putting up numbers. Sutton has been killing me. I need to drop him.
The past couple weeks. Wouldn't drop him because we just he reshuffling like every week it seemed like somebody's out in this Denver offense. They want to run the ball like they're balanced.
Yeah. Bentley's over to going to the tight end, Noah Fant. Like Noah, I think he's off the COVID list now.
He is. He's going to play. Albert O is back injured, so when we get to tight end, we'll get back to. I like him. All
right,
Beasley at 5'2". I play him every week.
Yeah.
Now last week, he has a low A dot. He had 8 catches for 33 yards, but he still got 11 fantasy points because we're in PPR, and he's the cheapest of. He's cheaper than Sanders, and he's doing better than Sanders.
That's true
in that offense. What about you? Talked about the Jets. What about Elijah Moore 4.7? He had a good.
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah.
He's healthy.
He's healthy, and he might be somebody worth looking at between him and. I mean, he had a great breakout last week. I don't think Buffalo's going to key in on him. Buffalo's probably going to key in on Corey Davis
and Jamison Crowder. Corey Davis is coming back.
Yep.
So here's the thing with the Jets offense. Even though it's a tough matchup, like they're, I hate to use the word fully loaded for their talent, but they got the running back they want.
They're fantasy loaded.
They got the running back they want. They got Corey Davis. They got Jamison Crowder. They got Elijah Moore. They got what they. This is their team. And then we kind of talked about Dak stacks. We talked about Michael Gallup at 4K. Like even if you're not stacking, like
snag him.
7 catches. He had 7 targets when he got hurt against Tampa, and he's been off since then, and he's going to move right back into that third spot.
If you want a cheap sneak, grab Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah.
Cheap. I'm talking cheap. If you're stuck where you only got $3,500 to play, that's who you play.
Because I did not want to play.
Because there's nobody else below him I would even consider.
I didn't want to play. Like, I mean, when I look at all the players. Like,
even Osborne. No.
I had to consider all these players. Like, I've been playing St. Brown for Detroit, but I'm just off of Detroit finally.
Get off that narcotic.
I'm off Quez Watkins with Philly because Hurts just doesn't want to throw it. We talked about
Nelson Aguilar. It depends on if Macaroni Jones can play. Randall Cobb is also one in the cheaper range that I would consider. Like I said, these are cheap players that you don't have anybody else to play. Hell, Lazard is also cheap. Why is all of these Green Bay wide receivers so cheap?
Because they don't throw it to nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
Adams has a 40% target share.
It's Adams
he has a 40%
and
target share.
And I don't touch Robbie Anderson ever.
I can't endorse anybody else cheap. KJ Osborne's just not doing it.
I will stop at Jamal Agnew and Zach Pascal. That's my bottom.
With Adam Humphries.
Unless you go down, like I said, Valdez-Scantling, which I feel like he gets a touchdown.
You could look at like a Tyler Johnson if Godwin's ruled out. Maybe they got some. Even Adam Humphries on that Washington side in that game. But
we talked about Humphries a week or so ago, and I was just like, I don't like him. And guess what? Yeah. I've understood why I didn't like him. He didn't give us. Now he'll give you some cheap. He may give you some cheap 8 points, which is not bad. It's actually not bad at all for him, Humphries.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't waste your time. So.